I've been asked to sing this song by an old fan of the Bursledon Village Band, and really needs a little bit of explanation before I launch into it, because I don't think it will make sense unless you know a little bit about the background. Back in the 1970s, I used to live on a little wooden boat on the River Hamble, and there were quite a community of people living on old wooden boats, resurrecting them or just enjoying the sort of old-fashionedness of it all. And we were colloquially known as Hamble bums, because we used to just bum around and generally earn a living where we could, usually varnishing somebody else's boat and things like that. And during the winter in particular, it was very quiet down there, and we had the local pub, the Jolly Sailor in Bursledon, pretty much to ourselves. And in those days it had a big log fire, and we used to sit round the fire with our pints, and sometimes you'd find somebody with a sail over his knees sewing it up and things like that. And then around about Easter time it all changed, because the yachty types, as we call them, the people who were part-time sailors, I'm afraid I'm one of those now really, but they used to turn up, and whereas it had been pretty quiet before, it got quite rowdy, and they all seemed to want to talk very, very loudly as well. And so we were a tiny bit resentful about it. But me being me, being a bit of a rebel I think at the time, wrote this rather tongue-in-cheek song, which was intended to be sung in the Jolly Sailor by the Hamble bums. But unfortunately Hamble bums are not good singers, or they weren't very keen to do it anyway. And it never really happened in the Jolly Sailor. But I went to the local folk club I used to go to, and I sung it there, and it went down a storm. And I thought, oh, well, there you go. And later on, maybe a year or two later, I was asked if I would record it and put it on an LP, remember them? Called Hampshire, a Musical Portrait, and I rather reluctantly did, because I've never really valued the song particularly. It was written at a time when I didn't know very many words, and you'll see why in a minute. But the recording came out, and it was a huge success. And this LP, I've always felt very ashamed of it, because this LP had some wonderful songs on, and Radio Solent got hold of the LP, and they ignored all the songs and just played Hamble bums all the time, and it went out 2 or 3 times every day, and to the extent that, you know, they were getting fan mail and all sorts of things. And eventually this lady from Radio Solent came and sat with me in the boatyard where I was working, and interviewed me, which was really quite amusing. I've still got that somewhere tucked away on tape somewhere. I must try and find it. So that's the story of it. The additional story is the fact that the LP, in those days, LPs and records, the top 10 was taken from a record shop. So if a record shop sold lots of the Beatles, for example, then they would end up at number 1. And it just so happens that when the record was released, Henry's record shop in Southampton, long gone now I'm afraid, submitted their top 10, and Hampshire, a Musical Portrait sold more LPs than anybody else, and so we were in the New Musical Express. We were at the top of the hit parade with this LP, so it all sort of came together at the same time. Anyway, I'll get on and sing it now then, shall I? Bums are we, bums are we, bums are we. Oh, Hamble bums are we, bums are we. Oh, we spend our time afloat, 'cause we all live on the boat, and we nearly always broke. Bums are we, bums are we. Oh, we're not yachty types, yachty types, yachty types. No, we're not yachty types, yachty types. Oh, we may not dress so swell, but we sail so very well, and you can go to hell, yachty types, yachty types. And we don't like plastic yachts, plastic yachts, plastic yachts. No, we don't like plastic yachts, plastic yachts. Oh, they've all got different names, but they all look just the same. Send them back from whence they came, plastic yachts, plastic yachts. And we don't like motorboats, motorboats, motorboats. No, we don't like motorboats, motorboats. Oh, they're nasty, smelly things, and they make a fearful din. Put them in a rubbish bin, motorboats, motorboats. Bias lot, bias lot, bias lot. We're a nasty bias lot, bias lot. Could it be that we are wrong and they're right all along? Oh, thank God we're Hamble bums, bums.